All right. You know, sometimes I have to get what I want to say to y'all together to make sure that I have it. So I just shared a a Facebook post of a young woman that has been missing. She was reported missing, where GPD reported it back on September the 15th. Um, in that time, I received a video that actually shows her, somebody recording, as somebody goes into the bathroom on her and attack her while she's sitting on the bathroom, while she's sitting on the toilet. So of course, trying to go through the appropriate channels for them to be able to trace the video, and didn't want to put the video out too much. Number one, it'll block us because of the level of violence. So I listen, I'll be doing another 30-day stint if I post the video. But in addition to that, the same way that the video was brought to me to show that a child got attacked, this a child, she like 14, 15 years old, that's missing, got attacked by some girls. The same way it was brought to me that these little girl, there's an adult male that is messing with these children, and we know this is the shit that I be saying. The reason that it's not been a big deal before today is because that's what we look at. Oh, she ran away before. Instead of saying, okay, well, she ran away. Why are kids running away? We never want to go a step further to see what's going on outside of our bubble. And then we keep trying to figure out why stuff happens in the way that it happens. And that's my frustration. I have no idea if she's safe. I have no idea if this video of her being attacked is since she's been missing. All I know is people were bold enough to record it as a girl went in there and is beating her in the head while she's sitting on the toilet. That. I need people to know and understand. Stop, goddammit, calling me. I don't talk on the phone casually unless you're in my inner circle. You want to know why? Because I field 20 and 30 and 40, 50, sometimes 60 phone calls a day. The last thing I want to do is sit on the phone to talk to people that I don't know or that's just not in my circle. It ain't nothing personal. When my day is over, my day is spent. You want me to do something? You want to talk about me? Send a text message, send an email. When I get to it, inbox me. I'm going to get to it. I have so many people. Well, why are you not calling me? Because you want to sit and talk. And I'm a meat and potatoes kind of girl. When you ask me for your help, give me the meat and potatoes. I understand in y'all life, people done told everybody to explain your situation, and they want all of that. I need the meat and the potatoes. I need to know what happened, when it happened. Did you ask these questions? What you needed, if it didn't happen, why it didn't happen. That's all I need. It ain't for me to judge your situation. It ain't for me to judge this, that, and happen, because I know systems. In that vein, don't try to send me a line of bullshit. I got a real good sense of discernment, and I need people to know and understand that. Selling me a line of bullshit, I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you, you selling me some shit that I don't need, and I don't believe that shit. Save yourself the trouble. That's the point. What makes me different is I'm going to gauge your situation better than anybody else's because I understand there's so much more to the situation. Time is money. The help I give y'all is for free. So therefore, stop wasting my time and allow me to help you in the manner that needs to be helped. And ask anybody that I help. I'm pretty goddamn detailed. That's the reason we can get to the bottom of what we need to get to the bottom of. In that same vein, if I ask you to do something, I mean that shit from the bottom of my heart. So when I say attend something related to mental health, I mean that. Because right now, all our mental health is fucked up. So I don't even know why these events are not packed out, especially since they are virtual. There is one regarding bereavement on Sunday. There is no reason for us not to attend and participate, because especially right now, we all have lost multiple family members just to COVID alone, let alone to all of the traditional stuff, to gun violence and everything else. And my deal is this. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But that's it. When I ask you to do something, today, there's an event. Racism is a public health issue. This ain't hard. I talk to y'all about it all the time. My deal is everybody is agreeable, but everybody's refusing to act. I'm in my feelings right now. We ran an election for mayor. Literally, the mayor of Ocala is a Klansman. This ain't hearsay. This is proven. One of the people that ran for city council is one of the people that stormed the Capitol. She was one of the speakers and one of the people that participated in storming the Capitol. She now is the runner-up when they have to do a runoff for her and another candidate for city council. We can sit all day long and talk about white people being racist and different things. The issue in this election over here is that people of color and like-minded people didn't show up. It's enough energy and responsibility to go around for everybody. The reason that I want to point these things out is because we are so holier than thou, but then we want to pick and choose when we mad at some goddamn stuff. And let me get to it to see where I put it. So, for example, Biden and Haiti. Has anybody even paid attention to what's going on at the border and how Border Patrol and stuff like that were Biden and beat Haitian immigrants? And see, that's the deal. We have all the energy for kids in cages. We have all the energy in Mexico. The same energy that I had for Trump and the things that they were doing at the border, that's the same energy I got for Biden. I'm letting y'all know because we don't pay attention. Number one, we never paying attention. So all the stuff goes on. But then when the election comes, we're going to be stuck with him and then somebody else, and then you're going to be mad. Now is the time to have issues and push for change when it comes to stuff. In that same vein, the same way we got people talking about, well, I'm not going to align with the firefighters because they're aligned with DeSantis. What Biden did is some DeSantis Trump type shit. And that's what I need us to know and understand. We keep all the energy for all of the stuff that they do wrong, but when it's stuff that you come to the table and what's right is what's right, because when something right, I want people to come to the table for me. What I learned is the firefighters are almost 80% vaccinated. So they're more vaccinated than a lot of other entities. What I learned from the firefighters is they ask for education. Educate instead of mandate first. What I learned is, why do we think it's okay when they got collective bargaining units that they feel that it's okay to implement this mandated vaccine and people lose their job in 3 weeks? Never ever talking to the firefighters. Because had they talked to the firefighters, which is something I fuss about all the time, they would have known that they got such a high vaccination rate. They're just looking for a plan in order to protect their people, which is literally the job of unions. The job of unions are to protect these people. That's why you buy into unions. When the teachers union has failed our bus drivers, I done call their ass out for it. When the teachers union has failed parents and black employees, I've called their ass out for it. But we so busy stuck in our minds about how we pro-vaccine, we didn't even look at the big picture. What we should have looked at is what commissioners were opposed to the mandate. Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Duncan Walker. And the reason we look at that, because typically when there's a decision that's made that's for the people, those are the commissioners that have a proven track record of voting for the people. So we need to get outside of ourselves and out holier than thou mentalities. And all of us got it. From church people, from uppity black people, from white people, to other black people. We give so much energy to putting each other down and say, oh, that's on them. That's why I'm not getting involved. That's why everybody fucked up. Not realizing that a lot of this stuff is absolutely by design. It's by design. It is willful and it is on purpose. One of the things that I wanted to share with a lot of people that I am realizing had no idea was some of the history as it related to University of Florida and Gainesville. So one of the things that I wanted to do is point out, we always talk about how UF, and mind you, UF just became a top 5 university, but got more struggling residents than many of the other places in the country. So let's talk about that. So I wanted to share. So University of Florida is always titled what's called a land-grant university. Land-grant universities were created by the Federal Morales Act of 1862 and 1890. The first in 1862 provided 30,000 acres of federal land to be stolen from Native American tribes and given to states for the purpose of constructing agricultural schools. So yes, 30,000 acres of land stolen from Native Americans was land-grant land for the University of Florida. But let's keep going. In 1890, it targeted Confederate states by stipulating that either race could not be a criteria for admission or they had to have a separate but equal school for black students that must be constructed. And that was from the 1905 Buckman Act. That's how we got Florida A&M University. Let me keep going. The impact during Reconstruction was incredible. But in Gainesville, and especially after Rosewood, Gainesville elected many black Republicans to public office, including Josiah T. Walls, who was denied his seat in the House of Representatives by a coalition led by J.J. Finley, Confederate Brigadier General and Klansman. Remember who J.J. Finley was? We literally just changed the name of J.J. Finley Elementary from a Confederate soldier. But you know, Gainesville was so progressive. By the 1880s, Gainesville was the southernmost developed city in the U.S. and a booming tourist destination. And while Reconstruction-era laws had disenfranchised the black population, large numbers of blacks rallied together to fund better churches, businesses, and of course, schools. White public schools in Alachua County were numerous, but they were poorly funded. They struggled to find qualified teachers and ran for only 3 months a year. While Union Academy, which is now formerly Kirby Smith, is where actually headquarters is, that was Union Academy. We were open for 8 months, and then we had quality teachers and quality education. That's why I keep telling y'all the integration was a farce. It was bullshit. But let me keep going. Jealousy is what led white leaders of Gainesville to offer land on the west side, which was predominantly black. They offered that land and free water to University of Florida. The black community, the majority of Gainesville at that time, was forced to pay for this water, but was never allowed onto the school's grounds. This exploitation isn't only shameful history, it is precedent. About 40 years ago, the university decided to stop building housing on campus, which included increased enrollment and much higher than dormitories, which rent at close-at cost. So even as student development is taking over, that was on purpose. Since then, UF has put pressure on the city government to give tax breaks and funding to private developers to build student housing off campus to the tune of $20 million a year. So when I tell y'all that some stuff is by design, when I tell y'all that they tell you what they can't do for us and it's a lie, I'm telling you all what I know. In that same thing, when I tell y'all stuff like you need to go and be vaccinated, because us not being vaccinated and falling prey to misinformation is killing us off. Literally 1 in 61 people are dying from COVID. 1 in 61 are contracting it. Whereas if you're fully vaccinated, that number goes up to 1 in like 66,000. If you're vaccinated, you got a 1 in 99,200 chance of dying from COVID. So while we're sitting here scared, and I want to state this, there are people who have had reactions. There are these particular things. I recommend people going to the doctor if they don't to go get vaccinated. There's still not justification not to be vaccinated. Also, if we're sicker in the hospital, we can't pay bills. If we're sicker in the hospital, we can't work. So literally making a situation that's already bad be even worse. I want to point these things out because even to our allies who are so ethical and holier than thou don't realize that a part of the problem is we are so holy, we're not willing to even build power where we need to build power. How do you get infrastructure if you don't deal with people that already got the infrastructure and the resources? Entrance conversion is the way. You come to the table on something that you have a mutual interest in and you fight like hell for it. You still keep the same energy because I need y'all to know people say you've been quiet because I literally do work. So as we had an election over here, election day was Tuesday. We was out until midnight still giving out literature and talking to people and back up at 5:30. So when I say don't bang my line on election day, I mean don't bang my line. And that's the point because you got to stay focused. I stay focused on what's important and I keep asking y'all to do that because that's how you get progress. Even in Ocala, what I learned is there needs to be more infrastructure. So you know what we're going to do in the next 2 years? Teach them how to have infrastructure and advocacy so what happened don't happen. The same thing we do in Gainesville. This ain't hard. What else am I doing? Learning. I got to figure out how to do an ethics committee complaint against Lauren Poe and other commissioners if I choose to. What else am I doing? Working on the recall for Raina. I actually have to design the actual petition that actually has to happen. I've gotten the information. I'm going to lay it out for y'all. But in the meantime, I keep asking y'all to show up to stuff that you don't want to show up to. Then that means I got to go back and actually educate you on some stuff that if you would have listened to me when I said show up to some stuff, you would already be equipped with it. For people who have read my book, I greatly appreciate it. Each of you have stepped to me and said you feel so much better equipped. What I need from you, I need information. I need you to email me or I need you to inbox me and tell me a few things. Number 1, did you like the book? Which everybody says that they have, that they love it. Number 2, what did you get out of it? Number 3, I take constructive criticism. So tell me if there is something that you don't like because that's how you make things better. That's how we become better. That's how we become better. I need us to know and understand all of these particular things. So if you've gotten the book and you've read it, I need your review. I need your review in order to make it better because I wrote the goddamn book for you to equip you. So help me to help you. Also, if I need to be better with something, if there's information I need to give you, I don't know that unless you tell me. So that's the deal with the book. I put up my link tree so you can connect. You can inbox me your information or you can email me. Hell, if you need to text it and copy and paste it, I'll take that when I'm up in the middle of the night. We also working on Black-led youth services organization capacity building. What does that mean? The people who provide the best services for our kids typically is more difficult. Why is it more difficult? Because we get less money, we get less resources, and just because you can provide a good service don't mean we know about nonprofit building. So you know who's taking on the task to get us together to do that? I have. We're taking on that task to build us out because we work better together. Also, to teach us how to work together instead of being in competition. Don't nobody win if we're in competition if we know the resources are already limited. There's enough money and resources on the table if we learn how to foster our programs in what's called a collaborative manner. Guess what? That's a lot of work. I'm learning how to write grants. Working on the podcast. You know why? I'm too inconsistent with social media. This I know because I know what my shortcomings are. If I'm in my feelings, you're going to hear from me a lot. If I really ain't in my feelings and I'm just in work mode, you might not. But if we create a podcast that you know to look to and tune into, and you know what the topics are, then you can be more deliberate about tuning in. Also, if you're connected with me, I will actually send the podcast out to you like I did last week with some of the city commission video excerpts. Connect with me, makes your life easier if you are serious about being connected, because I'm going to send you what you need. I'm going to do that for you, and in turn, all you got to do is show up. It's that simple. Additionally, I told you before, we did I'm working on curriculum and stuff like that for Activist Academy, Institute, whatever you want to call it. Many people want to come to the table. They don't feel equipped. Shanae is working on that. The Duval Community Partnership. Duval School is closed. We're making it be something that's valuable for the community. Not just for the Duval community, but for our entire community in a manner that actually works for us. Take a lot of work. We got universal basic income. There are a lot of returning citizens that are about to actually get money every single month for a time frame in order to show that universal basic income is something that does work in order to build a better community. In addition to Black Parent Support Network and the work we got going on. In addition to the community, inclusive community coalition building that I'm doing out of Washington State. In addition, I have to renew my real estate license by the 30th of September and renew my notary certifications by October the 10th. So when I'm fussing because you asking me questions that I don't answer, when I'm fussing because you refuse to get to the table and help me, and then you reach out and ask for my help, that's what I'm fussing for. Even with my book, all proceeds don't go to Shanae. They literally go back into the work to make our community better. But what I learned about Ocala yesterday, and even about us, what we complaining for now? Y'all say they don't address our mental health issues. We do it, but you don't show up. We literally are having an event today, 6 to 8. Tomorrow from 10 to 2. That don't just talk about the racism in Gainesville, but it actually talks about action items and what to do in order to change it. So now, why are we not at the table? Even as it relates, I'm following up on that. I'm starting to get my public records requests from the stuff with the city. I'm getting stuff from GPD, from the city of Gainesville. I'm waiting on my stuff from the state attorney because I'm dead serious about that. I'm finishing up my bar complaint for Commissioner Raina Sacco. I don't throw rocks and hide my hand, but I am doing a lot of work. And the last thing I got time to do is always sitting on the phone talking with people because they ain't doing shit, so they got time to talk. I don't. There is work to be done. I need to talk to people who's ready to do work. That's what I need. I need people who, the same way you tune into my live videos, I kid you not. There are some powerful speakers around here. There are some people that know some stuff around here. When I'm asking you to participate in something, I promise you, you will be very impressed and amazed. But it takes the time for you to say, you know what? I am going to tune into this. I'm not going to sit and wait on Shanae to be goddamn crazy and cuss everybody out. Because it should not take all of that. We are now to a point where we should be mature enough to be able to move forward together and come together. Right now, if you are a GRU employee, if you are a firefighter, if you are a police officer, anybody that works for the city, they right now going to City Hall because they got meetings. Get your damn mask on and show up together. I hear people say, well, oh, what about my contract? That's your goddamn problem. You're so busy worried about you, you don't realize that it's to your own damn detriment. It's to your own detriment. So then people are fighting and working harder for you because you feel you refuse to come to the table and work hard for the goddamn group. I'm over that. I am so over it. Y'all know I be over a lot of stuff. Even with allies. If you're not willing to understand the importance to come to the table about the issues and not by party affiliations and not about philosophical differences, you're in the way. You are in the way, and that's been the problem. That's the reason that Poe been mayor for so long and should not have been. because we lazy and we don't want to do the work. And I promise you, it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding work. When you see the work that you put into something and you actually get a win, it's worth it. It's worth it. That's the reason that Commissioner Johnson kept fighting, and we left her out there in the cold by herself. But guess what? Literally, when she did resign, she did not resign because, she didn't resign because she quit. She literally now has even amped up the work that she's done for us. She literally has amped up the work that she's doing for the entire city. Who does that? Because most people just walk away and be like, whatever. And y'all got the people. Commissioner Duncan Walker is there. Cynthia's running for Gayle C. You got people stepping up to the table, but where we at? Where are we? And I ask this question all the time because I love y'all, but y'all know I be on some real shit. And I believe we all got accountability. That's where we are. Stop making excuses. Our babies can stop running away. They can stop shooting each other. All of this stuff will stop if we come together as a community. Why do people not know their neighbors? That's the kind of stuff that's wrong. Why is it that when something happens, ooh, child, that's them and their kids. Ooh, blame the parents. Instead of really understanding that our community is only strong as the weakest link. So therefore, when you turning your nose up at people and how they do stuff in their kids, you literally are helping to perpetuate what's wrong. We got to get out of there. And y'all know me. I got all the compassion in the world. It don't mean I won't get somebody together on some bullshit. I will. Even too. We all got petty in us. I'm petty. I'm one of the screenshot queens like everybody else. Y'all know I'm petty. I'm petty out in public. So I'm not stating that. Say whatever it is that you want to say, but act. Do something. This is the reason the schools are in the condition that they're in. This is the reason that we can't bring money in here. This is the reason there's no jobs. It's because we're so busy finger pointing, we're refusing to act. We're so busy looking at all the reasons we can't work with somebody that we're refusing to act. If you've worked with somebody before and they screwed you over, that means you didn't do it in the right manner. Because I'm always be deliberate about keeping power. I'm taking it or you going to share it. It's up to you. And the reason that I'm going to take it or you going to share it, because it's the only way that change happens. I don't have to be friendly with you, and I don't have to talk to you the way you want to be talked to if you can't respect me and my people. Now, if you want me to be all nice and bubbly and respectful, respect my people. Respect the people that's not at the table. Respect the people that don't feel like they have a voice. Because if you don't, I'm going to drag you. Somebody told me to let me know that my branding is with drag is do research and go. And literally when I drag somebody on this little blue app, what I do, I did my research and then I be on go. That's where we are. I'm going to leave y'all with that. Help me find this baby and make sure that she's safe. Help me and the firefighters as it relates to this recall. Help build capacity around what they're advocating for. They literally are not wrong to act. And this is what they're saying. Educate over mandate and let's come to the table and come with solutions. That ain't unreasonable. On top of the judge ruled yesterday that they was right. But they was right before the judge ruled on it. The city couldn't even give any very justification on why they did what they did. But change comes when we act. So yes, the judges did what they did. That's one step. But what happened speaks to many other decisions that Lauren Poe, Raina Sacco, and the rest of them have done. It's time out for that. It's time to be bold, and it's time to go hard, or it's time to go home.